the NECC, where it's Counter-Strike coming at you tonight. My name is Vincent, joined as always by Get the Bag, Mark, and we're ready to go, my friend. We've got some beautiful Counter-Strike on the dock.
Yes, we are, man. I mean, we're back here for another week. It's technically, our second time here on the NECC circuit, but honestly, we're rolling through it, Vincent. The college season is very far underway. And here this week, we have probably the best collegiate matchup I think we've had in the season across all the competitions that we see, Vincent. This is one where we pull up with the Ashland Eagles. They're number 6 here in the college counter rankings, taking on number 9, RIT Orange.
Yeah, and listen, I'm very excited for this one. I think that RIT haven't really had the chance to kind of show what they're made of, especially here in the NECC. One loss is all they've been able to post. Didn't have a match last week, and that was a loss to Davenport, who this Ashland team beat in 2-0 fashion just in week 1 as well, or week 2, excuse me. So I think that in and of itself is exciting. We got something to fall back on, and even beyond that, like you said, I think that these two squads, they've been here for a while, right? This is an RIT team at the very least that has championships behind them. Not this iteration, but Benji was part of those championships. And we're not very far removed. And an Ashland team that's been top 8 in pretty much every league that I've gotten the privilege to cast for a long time.
Yeah, I remember Zion. I remember the Fishman last year, doing some really good work out there for Ashland. So I'm excited to, just check back in with them again pretty early on in the season. Like you mentioned, I know that Benji obviously a part of, many of those championships. So is Sham. I'm excited to see Sham back in the server today. He's obviously a guy that's played outside of collegiate competition as well, we know. But Vinny, we got to see where this pretty relevant matchup is going to get down specifically, and we have our very stylish Vito graphic showing up on the screen here. We got Ashland going out and banning Nuke, and then RIT, you're not going to be seeing that train there today. So it's an ancient pick by Ashland to begin, and I am a fan of this here. To be honest with you, kind of a collegiate collective classic here with an ancient right off the bat. Vincent, how are you feeling about it? I think this should be a pretty even cut.
Yeah, it's something that RIT in the past have looked good on, but it's definitely a home for Ashland, and we've seen a lot of them playing on Ancient. I don't know about this season, but previous seasons, like I said, we've actually seen a lot of this team over the years. For an RIT overpass, this is actually interesting because this is, for a long time, actually been one of their go-tos, and it feels like that DNA continues through different iterations of this roster, as they have moved away from some pieces and brought in others. They continue to look to play overpass as much as possible, and it's going to continue to be just that. So as a Mirage decider, though, honestly, I don't know. I feel like this is a map that I haven't seen either of these teams play all that often, so I'm potentially excited to get to that. But I think that's the question for me, right? Is this going to be a swift game? Are we going to be seeing a 2-0 in either direction? What are your feelings?
I mean, that's definitely where you're going to be coming off of the conversation of that Davenport result, where ultimately we're going to be cutting things so close, probably, with their expectations on paper with the 6th and the 9th seeded team, going up against each other in the rankings pretty early on. I think this is going to be a pretty great one to especially grab just, the temperature of where we're going to be swinging at the regular season. If I'm going to be, probably getting the, series that I would like to get, it would be eventually getting to that third map, getting to that Mirage, because an overpass up here, I think right eventually, the pick here by RIT is very much going to be an interesting one. If Ashland are going to be, I think, getting through what is a favored Ancient and then hopping on to an overpass CT side, where I believe that if you're one of the higher ranked teams in the collegiate circuit, you have to have addressed this overpass by now. So you're definitely going to be seeing, the strains of reps there. And if they don't have them, it's definitely going to be obvious. And, that Mirage, I think, would be the, important result for it. Because I don't see players like X-Captain or Sham just getting, whipped out of this series too easily. They're way too good for that.
Yeah, I do think that there's a lot of skill on this RIT squad, and I got a lot of respect for what they have. That being said, that loss earlier to Davenport, they got 2-0'd in that one, and that being a team that Ashland also beat, but in 2-0 fashion, is what gives me a little bit of pause here. I normally, I think, would feel the same as you, but I'm looking at those results and I'm saying, well, my feeling and those results don't really connect, right? They're disjointed from one another. So I think for me, I'm leaning Ashland because of that. I think that RIT though,
Okay.
they're a capable team, like you said. I mean, we know all of these players, and I guess with one exception that uni out in this semester as Koza comes in.
Mhm.
But that's the only change, right? It's four to five returning members for this RIT team. They've certainly got that pedigree.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that particularly where we're going to be like just getting back in with this Ashland squad, they're actually this is like a funny anecdote all on its own. This doesn't like they're the only players on the like college counter rankings that have like proper HLTV style photos from their university. They're, very much taking that part of their job seriously and are obviously supporting some of those other like sets out there because I think it makes them obviously definitely higher threat in those kind of conversations of definitely a top tier premier program where I think you're definitely still in the era of the Fisher colleges coming back. It's still Northwood that's like really good, and like I think RIT, one of these programs that also, like you mentioned, with all like the history of doing well in championships, playing with MJB, whatever it was, like a year and a half ago before like he more of like I think started coaching and I believe is doing graduate work over there at RIT. Like that's what I mean. It's been like at least a year and a half since this RIT team has been in championship contention, and that I think it's time for, a program like Ashland to, certainly move inside of that space to, probably puff their chest and show what type of premier collegiate program, because I think there's an opportunity probably there for them. And I just got to see the Syracuse team come out to a Fragadelphia event I was at this weekend, and I think that they're getting in some good practice as well. So this collegiate season is going to be competitive as hell.
I mean, it already is, right? I think that we've already been able to have the privilege to see that. I was also like, and listen, I was talking about like the pedigree and like the history that Ashland has in CS and as a collegiate powerhouse. Like it was back like for a long time since I started back even in like 2021 covering like CS and finding these guys out there, and not this specific iteration, but Ashland University specifically. So it's like a lot of good stuff. I'm really excited for that, and I'm excited to see them potentially return to a form that I know that they're capable of. So lots of that. I think that Ho returns to this roster. If I'm not mistaken, last season he was coaching this roster. That's the only change from last semester on that side of things. So I'm excited to see him come back in. Obviously, a guy with a lot of experience as well. There's definitely a lot to like about what Ashland has brought, and like I said, the results have been good too.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I love seeing, a return sort of in that threat. I think that, particularly where you're going to have to like see into a lot of like, trusted names in some of these higher universities, some of these higher ranked teams, rather. Like, I think moving on from what will be a couple of graduating players, we haven't, I think, nearly set the culture to, see replacements as like so subtly in, maybe other like faces of collegiate sport, right? Like, I think it's going to take a while. Like, sort of that's why you see maybe like a couple of teams fall off where a couple of great players maybe graduate. Like, it takes a couple of collegiate seasons to actually like get these new players in, bring the team back to its premier strength, Vincent. But I'm hearing that maybe the game that we have is not quite ready yet, and we're going to need a break. Yeah, okay, yeah, something like that. So something exactly of the sort. Our server definitely not working for that ancient here. So we are going to be taking a break on our side. We'll be back here in a couple of minutes.
righty, we jump to the action. It is a little bit of a delay. Bomb down. It's for Ashland. The score is 4-3, Mark, and we're off to the races in this one.
And gets his first kill, and it's cracking the side of the head. Benji seems like he got a free angle for it. We're already a little bit into this first half and scraping along. The Ashland Eagles are doing really well on their map selection so far. It's this T side that is so far standing the test.
Yes, sir, it is. We got a big game here. We kind of highlighted that in the pre-show between the Ashland side and RIT. Picked by Ashland, and this T side currently showing up in that way. Sham getting himself an AWP. Round 9. Actually more. Sham nails it. First shot is hit. Great trade though, and it's more than that. The A site falling.
And they hit hard right here. Taking this A site with Root Bear Force. This RIT squad definitely looking a little bit frightened early. It's a 6th round T side. It's efficient as ever. And I feel like an RIT bank account is about to be soiled. We can tell a lot about how Ashland start, and it seems to be in the recipe so we're familiar with. The Fishman 12-4 right here, and they're pushing the ball forward.
Yeah, that specific double kill that the Fishman picks up, right? So very important, that trade onto Sham, not allowing him to continue free firing from Temple. They go hunting. Simel gets the ball, and Spaz is actually stealing one away just as the bomb goes down, or rather the bomb goes off, more accurately. Ashland, 6 rounds, looking good, and RIT certainly in a bit of a rough spot right now. Obviously, they've got the half-buy right here with some pistols and armor. Hang on to that AK for ex-captain, but other than that, Ashland having a pretty wide array of advantages. Firepower, the biggest of them. Take some control of B lane. Ashland don't really need any resistance. Love this boost, just to get a little vision.
Looking forward towards house. There's a jump spot across. Benji. SML gone with the wind, and now they want to check back to it. Calling for help. Captain. Oh my captain. It's gone without a frag. Now these pistols are going to stand up to the deficit. That one's just an ugly shot by Sham. He'll go out with nothing. Decked in the side of the head. Wrecked.
Hoax trying to walk back in here. Great work from Ashland. Things don't go too wrong. Deagle spam successful. There's some low HP bars here, but you know, this isn't an attempted victory. This is a save of sorts. I say that of sorts because Hoax goes in for another try. Ho-Ho is going to get the shot, necessitate another victory. RIT, take a moment to take a timeout. I wonder, we talked about MJB. I wonder if he's in the server tonight or not.
Hit tab, please. He's here in our hearts. So that's what I feel here.
True that. I will never watch RIT Orange without thinking of MJB in some way. Listen,
I just think of the Rochester Institute of Technology, and I'm like, it's MJB school.
Well, listen, I was gonna say, you know, he He dyed his hair school colors. All right,
He
so
did do that. Tommy Korn didn't even do that.
like, yeah, I'm just
that
saying.
guy's the greatest collegiate player of all time.
Exactly. Like the level of daddy was just incredibly high. Those are back in the hands of RIT. Fight towards mid. I thought they were getting boosted up. Yeah, they are. SML is about to be in trouble.
Potentially line up spam here. Sam going a little crazy. One of these spams landed. This is half stranded, so leaving RIT Orange on the other side. Zion and Spaz at the same time. This should be a no business brawl for these Ashland Eagles. Zion, he'll be decked at the bottom of the ramp. And it's finally a fourth here by the Tigers as they are looking to tear at least 5 out of the first half.
Yeah, I mean, Ashland already doing pretty well. I think, having a lead on the T side, definitely a victory in and of itself, but RIT maintaining control there of Cave. They, they get a little bit crazy with those spams. Sham does a lot of damage. I don't think he actually gets a kill, but he tags 2 or 3 with the op through the wall, and Koza actually does end up confirming a spam kill through the wood wall. So a lot of damage, even more than that. SML going down in middle thanks to Benji. Top to bottom, RIT victorious in that one. Plenty of cash residual for Ashland. Gonna look towards A, and then it's a fight towards mid as well, and Benji, he's gonna lose that one second go of it.
Boost up to Fishman, just spotted by Sham. Only for a moment's notice to be struck out of this thing. 5v3. 5v2 rather. RIT, doesn't look like they're going to be able to actually met 5 from it. Captain and Hoax. Or doubted. Not deleted yet. Tough fight. Hoax seems like they're just going to lay down the lead on him. And they've got plenty of angles to cut off any hope that Captain has. Head of this half has arrived. 8 rounds up on the board for Ashland Eagles.
Impressive. I mean, despite the fact that Hoax is alive there for so long inside of Donut, there was just never a way to get back out. RIT stuck in a bit of a rut there, breaking through even tougher. G disconnected for the moment. So I know that says tactical timeout, but it's unlikely a technical one. We get Benji back into the mix, but Ashland, a lot of positive signs. I know we missed the majority of the first half there, but DeFishman, from what we saw, doing a great job, especially out towards A. That moment where like Sham just gets surprised, or that trade on the Sham actually as well in Temple. 2 impressive moments from him. What do we? we just got stretchy.
What's happening here? What?
Oh, that's where
died.
That's where Benji died.
R.I.P. Benji.
No, it's R.I.T. Benji. Silly.
Har.
I couldn't even say it with a straight face.
What happened?
Yeah, I don't know. We're hanging out though. They've got Wolf, not that one or that one, in the server. Who's Malik?
Okay, that's a real person.
Malik?
It can't be a bot name. No, okay. I have never seen that bot name before. Welcome, Bot Malik. Bot Malik. And we're playing. Bot Malik. This is the future of collegiate esports. We have AI students
No,
Like
no.
AI Counter-Strike
Impossible.
competitions. The robots are among us.
This does sound awful like the video that we watched a few weeks ago about about fake competitions like in soccer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ran by unnamed betting companies that I don't think we could talk about, but that's the view. That's what that sounds like.
Aw, they've left.
See
No.
you later, Malik.
Be dearly missed.
Uh,
What a time.
what a time indeed. Nothing suspicious out here, though, I'll tell you that. Ashland, fair and square, getting to these 8 rounds. Sprinting out mid, dude, everybody's mid! It's 9 players out mid!
It's gonna be a straight brawl right away. The USPs have got advantage. Doesn't seem like they will. Ho-ho gone. They may just try and finish right upon Zion at the clip, makes contact, and may just have to turn it around.
They run, so does he. A sprint to the B bomb site. One, Zion not going to win as he takes a side quest out towards mid. But Mark, he has the one kit that was purchased up here for Ashland.
Bomb has been planted. Terrorists win.
RIT win a second half pistol. Get a good grasp of the T side to begin with. I'm always going to favor the fury of the Glocks over kind of the, group of the USPs there in middle. I feel like Glocks were just always going to overwhelm in that asset. Seems like we may have an ancient about this, and Ashland just won't run away with it. RIT, do not say die.
No, not at this point. Maybe not ever. We'll see where things lead us once we get into gun rounds, but this one should be pretty easy. Ashland up with barely anything, 1 or 2 upgrades outside of these USPs. It's too bad Zion also didn't go middle, because that would have been awesome. 5v5 in mid. One back of like the knife round.
It was that USP tripping about Sham loses life at the hand of Spaz.
A little damage would be nice to have. Okay, ho-ho. Straight through the smoke, onto Benji's head.
Crack. I'm not sure that RIT will exactly crumble from this batch of USPs running through the smoke, and that's not going to be enough. 2 free shots, taking a third out of that Galil, and Ho-Ho will grasp this Deagle. 1v3 till their very last breath. Here in the back calls, RIT will not stall. They are revving up in the second half. They've got 2 in a row, and now they're trying to chain it up to a gun round.
Yeah, Koza 4 kills on the anti-eco. Certainly gonna show out on that one. Cut the deficit in half, essentially. No AWP for Zion, if I'm remembering correctly, is the offer for this Ashland team. First of these gun rounds get a whole lot of mid control. The shelf too, as SML burns a little bit, but still survives it.
Oh, here's an opener. Benji gets this back. Revenge from Sham. The site actually be taken here, because there's only SML in the back lines. Just gonna get Zion in here for contention, thankfully so, because SML gone down with nothing, and here should be Ashland packing it up.
Yeah, I mean, the Fishman, Spaz, both of them gonna need to save. I know that Spaz has a kid, but big gamble, to be entirely honest, with the way that they were playing B. Ho-Ho's the only one who's there. Like, at all, period. And, you know, obviously things continue to happen after the fact, but needed a little bit more resistance posted that direction. Ashland going to pay the price. And RIT, they're right back into this. You know, this was a really dominant Ashland T side, but I'm impressed by it. RIT not phased by it. Letting themselves get worried by that. They move on to their own T side and looking to shine just as bright. 3 rounds straight after the pistol. Ashland will make another purchase. 4-run loss and is upcoming, so I mean their money probably still going to be strong. Those saved guns that allow this to happen. Be a little bit of a different look for RIT. They're singularly towards B. At least they were for a moment. Fish, man, that's a lot of damage just to try and fight Shell. Especially when he doesn't successfully do that at all.
That nade might catch him pretty heftily. Does. Heftily. I feel like I just made up a word on the spot. In heavy fashion, Vincent.
That heftily is a word, I think.
Is it? Is it? I feel like I was referring to Greg Heffley from a Wiki Kid.
I haven't heard that
sort of
in so long.
Yes, apparently the actor is on this new Chad Power show I'm hearing about. That's something that's driving me up the Vine already. Don't you worry. I'm gonna rant to you about it personally later, Vincent.
Oh boy.
A football version of Ted Lasso, apparently, we're saying.
Oh!
Which I don't have a problem with conceptually, but I'll tell you later. Here we are. Through the donut we go, in an actually a very clean entry path. But Zion looks to trip this up. Left side of the site. He will go down in a 1v4. The Fishman is gonna have to swallow this pill of a tied game going back to the way of his squad. This Ancient has second life here for RIT Orange. It seems like the tale of two seasides, man. Like where we, you know, look to challenge both of these teams. If you have a bad CT side, I normally think we're never really thinking it's going to get better for you on your offense, but RIT smashing expectations at the moment. They're doing really well so far.
Yeah, I really didn't necessarily doubt that they could be good on this T side, but the way in which both have been so dominant, I think, is the surprise. Ashland closing out. It was actually the part of the game that we didn't actually get the privilege to see. It was pretty back and forth, like until 3-3. But Ashland taking control afterward. Now we're tied up, and it's not at 3s, it's at 8s. With another unfortunate situation where Eagles are probably gonna have to. It's not a full eco that's coming, but like it might just be a half buy. They could argue for a full purchase, really, but I think that it might be better to get everything that you want, especially because you know getting an AWP hasn't really been possible all CT side to this.
Yeah, it's been a really rocky one for you, especially where you I don't think even have been able to win one round on their CT side. It's just been a complete brawl since you know that pistol, and they've been buying back. So I gotta wonder, you know, where you're gonna chop things up, because it's not like an op's gonna appear in your hand unless you're taking a couple more losses on your, you know, chin for you financially. So I gotta, you know, really encourage some immediate action out of an Ancient CT side that I think can present probably some of the, you know, best work of in-game leaders and towing up their teams for re-aggressions all throughout the map. We're back to the game now here on this Ancient, and we gotta see if Ashland can recover from a really good RIT start.
And I mean, from that, RT could bring this back to steal this map away. And I say steal it. They're interested in taking what Ashland had previously picked into. This is a reaction from Sham that I really like. A lot of presence towards the cave side. So just take it out.
Got for it. Ho, might get a triple kill on the FAMAS. Double will do it. Ashland defending and really doing some great work. These shots are looking put up and potent. 3 survive. and every number of that round is going to be dialed towards Ashland.
Yeah, and you know, the tragedy of that is that they were hoping to get out as soon as they go. Sham gets the duel, the first victory, and they're throwing a scaling flash to try and get in, and that's what unfortunately disrupts RIT. It's their own flashbang that then pulls them back, shuts them down, as Ashland kind of swarm the site. That's their first CT round. Not necessarily panic stations yet for RIT, though. You know, that one loss, I think it's really just a mistake that sets them up for failure. They can recover that pretty quickly. A little bit uncomfortable right now. Benji's the only one not in this B area. They've evacuated entirely. RIT, like, walk away.
Down to 6 HP. And they're least Molotoving down the ramp. Trying to suffocate all of this space, toe by toe. Tick by tick, they don't get the damage from that fire. Jam checks back into bottom middle, misses a close shot. The Fishman sees the contact back here in the bottom middle. At a minute left in this round, and what is this going to tell him? That likely this play is going to be finishing at the A site.
Pretty much gotta be. Defense, though, I mean, it's not exactly set up. Spaz is the only one here, and it's an incredible entry from X-Captain. Some low HP bars here for RIT, but as they set up now this post plant, that incendiary going to delay again, elevated towards tree, deep into A main. It's tough right now for Ashland to break through.
Oza puts up a nice shot. Zion will just take this attempt back. A tied game. And this is what I wanted out of our series. We had a 6 seed. We had a 9th ranked team here in this regular season matchup, Vincent. And I think we're getting the standard of the tension we expected here tonight.
No doubt about that. I'm you know, very happy to see RIT bounce back like this. Benji gonna go down with the ship, but Zion, the survivor of the Ashland side of this. So again, Ashland doing a great job of being able to continue to invest. This one just based on them, you know, winning that previous round. But RIT back in winning ways. Could be an interesting time to see RIT, like, kind of change things up. They've not been slow, per se, but it's been quickly getting map control and then a lot of pause, you know, right after that. These 4-1s where it's all about lane, it's all about working B. Benji, late activation towards mid. He's really just there to maintain control. Push up and all the way through for SML. He's 3 main. Benji, out mid himself. This is a timing to look for SML.
That bounces down on the ramp, and Sham looks up to get a really nice shot.
Look at how readable this is right now for RIT. They know that how often they've been playing 4-1. Everyone instantly looks to rotate B off the back of Benji going down. Smoke in their face. Another 20-second stall tactic with an incendiary behind it. Ashland doing a great job of stalling RIT out right now. Problem is that they don't have a cutoff in mid. It's really just SML who's retaken position over in Donut.
To Fishman, doing great stuff. Ashland looking like they can actually bolster this B site with their firepower. Might be able to stop the plant. Everything but, though. Jam 1v3. Could quickly get back into cover and actually probably isolate the fights and have an attempt at the clutch. Ashland don't even give him the chance to reposition double digits off of the retake. And this is just one after another. Still, no money broken. RIT are about to have a strong buyback.
Yeah, it's not perfect on their end. This is where RIT need to make an adjustment, though. Like I highlighted, Ashland's starting to recognize exactly how RIT are playing in a default, and it is incredibly readable. RIT very consistently not making secondary moves because early default's been working. Now's the time to change that. And in fact, you can see out of spawn, it's already looking very different. 3 outside elbow. Bomb is in that grouping as well. Ex-Captain's sitting in spawn, ready to throw the flashes for mid-control in a moment. They smoke of house, and here they go. A heavy stack for Ashland on the A-bomb site.
Oh, and SML, they investigate the bottom of B. They're about to find out everything that they need to. But I think A is about to be active before that happens. Oak's gonna get this opening shot. Right now, it's gotta be this double kill, but it's only a singular frag. Zion with so much to do and so little work, but where does that shot even peer through the crack of? That's a headshot riveting through the AK, and right now Ashland shouldn't even consider retaking further, but they do. They may lose a couple guns now. They don't have to be fully committed to it. That smoke that they put up themselves is actually helping smoke out CT. Ho-Ho stands at 2 health. It's going to be one hard task to leave, but Ho-Ho actually might be able to.
I mean, he's lucky to get out of there. Arguably shouldn't have. Ashland winning a round, following that up with a loss. And, I mean, looking at the money, they still have a lot of loss bonus here. I don't know. It's math I don't want to do right now. But I think they'll be buying, assuming that Ho-Ho can keep this recovered. He can drop a gun to Fishman's going to be fine. And, you know, that's already 3 guns, so, you know, you take a FAMAS and get an MP9. That's a pretty darn good buy. Exactly the time for it. Deep into this, we speed towards round 21. Sham been good here on this T side. He's got another op. Zion doesn't get an equivalent one. This is the molly for top of Tetris that is so frustrating for Ashland in those first few rounds. We'll take towards mid. Another different look here for RIT. I like how as soon as I mentioned that they needed to adjust, they did.
Their Fishman is at least going to get out with a singular fight. Nobody right around for that trade potential, just within spamming distance, but what good is that if you can't actually confirm?
It's a little scary to not have that possibility of a trade. Ex-Captain confirming some damage and some information. The bomb is included in this. What a weird B hit.
Shots together from RIT, but look at the way that SML is just grazing the greens on this site. On this grass, does so well to set this ball up for a clutch. Rather to close the case out by Ashland.
Hoax
sort of feel that way.
Seeing and hearing nobody CT is a really good indicator that nobody's coming CT. So he walks it straight through, goes out to A. The complications of trying to get the bomb down when there was so much chaos. This attack was 2 through spawn, 1 through cave, 1 through ramp. So a huge ease. Now it's a 1v2 that's winnable.
And it's shut right down. The Eagles will have 12 here. Up first. They have to get 11 initially to do so. And they're the first team that gallops there. Well done out here by Ashland. Always takes that extra little bit of efficiency to get it done. You have that man advantage out there. Use it to perfection. We'll see if Ashland can actually stretch out and finish their map selection here. I don't think anything is guaranteed. I'll believe it when we're back to the cameras.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. RIT really lacking a grid buy now themselves. Benji's got a bit of a hero. I think they're ecoing this. Yes, they are. RIT playing for overtime right now. Hoping that they can win with Benji's one rifle. hoping that they can do more with what limitations they have. It's all 5 looking towards B once again.
Smoking away. A really good entry is in Zion here. He's going to have to go 0 to hero. Nothing. That's really impressive stuff from RIT here. The Fishman and Spaz are going to rotate in as quick as humanly possible. Molotov, I feel like that should force them out to fight. Gives Spaz rather the reason to work, and not ready for the pivot. Not ready for the peak on 2 accounts. Now to base it back to the captain, a 1 versus 2. Taps onto the bomb. Just looking for a spam. Already, the desperate play is coming out. So it's 12 rounds here by the Ashland Eagles to settle match point in their nest.
Really feels like RIT could have tied the game right there. Just a pretty ugly post plant. 2 players out towards long, fair enough, but to then have your 1 guy short, not really looking for anything, and thus not really doing much of anything in that post plant is a problem. And ex-captain not really ready to fight with his teammate either on a wide angle. So match point for Ashland as highlighted. And the good news is that RIT have all the bells and whistles. They've got Shams up. They've got more than that. This one, again, this 4-1. This is the way RIT like to start rounds. Very comfortable setup, but look at the nade damage. That's 1 nade that dropped down on ramp. That's how effective it was.
Thought Ho-Ho was about to get flashed through that smoke. I was getting excited for an aggressive play like that, but also frightened as to how something like that can't just go so south with the risk of an endgame scenario. But what do they say, Vinny? Love is risky. Gotta make sure you're taking those plays to make everything happen, even if it is dangerous.
No doubt. Risky for the biscuit, I think they also say.
Sure, that is sentimentally maybe putting out the same message. Ho-Ho going down that ramp and won't be coming back up. SML out of this corner, and it gets a double headshot, maybe even a triple. Zion will have this bleed stopping onto B for now. 30 seconds and RIT get to put up a plant. So in time, I feel like pretty quickly, the Fishman is going to be walking here. And by the time they do get this bomb, he's going to be able to stop a plant. Benji looking for a shot on the Spaz. Walking up the ramp, now they're looking for it. So it's a 1v2. The Defishman gets the toad up. And right now he's looking for the bomb planter. When will Defishman realize he's got himself off the hook? And a tap back for now. A re-equip to the AK, and he's got the point-blank shot. Our number 6 ranked team, the Ashland Eagles, are going to continue to dominate. They are standing on top of the expectation that they're the better team in this game tonight, Vincent. They're up 1-0 over RIT Orange on their map pick.
Their map, their victory, and a 1v2 from the Fishman to do it in that fashion. 24-12, a 2-0 KD from the Fishman as well. So many good things that he was doing. I was really impressed with what we saw from him. But beyond that, I can't believe that it comes down to a 1v2 like that. And that's the way that they send it. After RIT brought it back, I mean, they were there. Yeah. There was so much to love about RIT's T side. They just could not find the finish line.
It's actually fascinating how well they keep themselves in that game for it, and how in response Ashland know that they have to go up and get a clutch, whatever it is, have a player stand up with it. And I'm not just talking about right to Fishman closing out that game. I'm talking about, you know, what netted up that 11th and 12th round to begin with. I think that was really impressive work out there by that Ashland squad. But it seems like you're just right up with the, you know, level of play in this series, Vincent, where this is like peak collegiate Counter-Strike out here. This feels like a playoff matchup. You're getting it to be this close. So you got an overpass up right next door. And like we talked about, I don't think that you can have the expectation that this one's going to be as neck and neck, right? I feel like we're really going to have to see what type of performance that Ashland put up so far to gauge how much experience that they're working off of these few reps of overpass having.
Yeah, honestly, I think that there is so much to see for Overpass, and I think we're going to find out pretty early in that game where we stand. That being said, we got a quick break before we get there. It's going to be a couple of minutes, and then we'll jump right into the action on Overpass. We'll see you in a minute.
Nothing cuts quite like a memory, especially one that you're trying to forget. But I can't find the energy to rewind and reset. I know you don't wanna be used, but you use me to build up. You build up to break.
We got this second map up and on for the cards right here on all of them, Vincent. I don't know if we got a third map coming or not, because, dude, even if I was, even if I was a weatherman, a meteorologist, there we go. I couldn't tell the way that we were seeing the snow come in this next map series, because I think we could be getting all three. But man, I mean, with you having the expectation of a third, you know, where we got a 13-11 just then, 13-10 rather, I think you can see this going all 24. That's the tension of the series that we feel, and I'm definitely very happy to be here, but I just don't know how much longer we will.
Yeah, we can jump right into it. And yeah, if I were to put that a different way, I'm not a betting man, but if I were, there's no safe money right here on this one. No one is safe. This is not a guarantee. All we're guaranteed for is a whole lot of fun, a good time, as the Eagles, they took their map, but RIT certainly gave them a real
like that
run
quote,
for the money.
That's like a Omar from The Wire level quote right there. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna front.
That's high praise.
It certainly is. We're sprinting this way of this overpass.
I'm
not sure that was supposed to land there. I think it was a front bathroom smoke, but they're already ahead of it.
It's top con. Water falls down anyway. Nerd stuff out of the way. I'll talk about it in a minute.
Gotta make sure that potentially this next part of the play is as defined, and it doesn't seem to be, but it's working even better. We've got both of these shots here. Spaz, the Fishman, quickly into coordination. 3 shots, and they are reloading right on the basis. These USP are just going to drown every angle out, and there's an Ashland pistol.
The Fishman, he's starting right where he left off. 24-12 at the end of map number 1. Comes back in. I'm gonna theorize for a second just because I love the like nerd smoke stuff. I've seen that before in a pro game, and I think it's meant to go at the very top of con and then waterfall down, so that then you can like potentially burst into con or get to con without being seen from Sans. Pretty interesting. It's got a lot of options to it. I don't know if it's like perfect, but I saw a pro team do it like a week ago.
You know, or you freaking know. Gotta stay informed, man. Remember the meta, every little thing that's developing here, because I feel like I see a new little some every couple of games we're watching.
For sure.
Tier 2, Legion, whatever it is. There's always something wacky going on. Here, not wasteful. Every single member here getting to do their job. Doesn't mean it's going to be too pretty for RIT. They clock out with at least 1 kill. Benji gets pins back on the bomb, but SML is coming back.
That's shaking my leg, just so you know.
Okay.
Listen, it's an affliction many of us
I feel
have.
like I was almost saying smell last map, and I was kind of chuckling at that.
Speaking of chuckling, I'm chuckling at the idea that like that's
Really
like that's true. I always got a smile on my face. It's true. It's true. I hang out with you so much. I just grin in ear to ear.
You can't get it.
But I was gonna say, I was giggling at the fact that what if in that pro game that I was talking about, they also just missed a smoke the same way? That would be really funny. We just tried to make up reasons. Cool. Disgusting from Spaz. I really love this like full press take for sure. I know this is like old meta and everything, but I always love watching Overpass. We're going back to sort of some of the same ideas. There's been a lot of changes, especially with like the way nades break up the smoke and stuff, but I still am a big fan. Everybody escapes for the most part, Zion exception, into a 4-on-3. Ashland gonna get themselves back up there. Zion taking its time about getting out, to be honest. Pays the price.
Ready to contact A off of rather, I I think just a set piece that they're going to throw from Divider. A couple players spotted, including the bomb. They're going to try and serve up a little bit of their own success. Captain takes a great fight here and actually gets put to red out there by the Fishman that really could have ripped off a double there realistically. This bomb will be planted through the security of Truck, but we're going to try and just disrupt this smoke in great fashion. Sham there, he's going to be sending that flank deep. The Ho-Ho actually has a good idea where both of these players probably just ran off to Vincent, but it doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it that much more possible. Such a hard retake. Captain spacing out 1v1. I'm surprised Sham doesn't immediately swing on the reload, but he does eventually. RIT, they finish out on the A site through a 4K of their most talented player.
I mean, brother, this is a situation where Ashland had it all going for them. It all goes right. 5-on-3 to open this up. I think Ashland a little bit overcomplicated matters. They needed to just evacuate the area, not necessarily take the fight a little bit quicker. When Zion goes down, flubbed utility, flashbang that didn't quite go where it was intending. Yeah, Sham, the hero of that, no doubt, but RIT getting away with one there. Ho-Ho just with a deagle this round. Everybody else is still good. I love the pre-sight, foresight, that's the word I'm looking for, from SML there, right? Looking for the boost, but waiting for the flash. Knows that RIT, a team, not going to just take that fight without any utility. That would be silly.
Going to creep up with this Divider. Sham just has a sixth sense here. He knows something was right next door to him. Feeling them leaving the A site, he landed on him.
Gonna be two defenders here.
Counter-terrorists win.
All they need. Don't need any more. SML double kill. He gets 3 total that round with the boosted frag to start. The Fishman shuts the rest down. 2-piece for each. And Ashland, a little bit of a bump in the road, but they're right back to winning ways. Didn't matter that Ho-Ho only had a deagle. Didn't need to use it. Triple presence towards B early. This is normally going to be the default setup for most CT sides. Speaking of the CT side, very CT-sided map here on Overpass. Typically could expect the CT side to get, I mean, I'd say like a minimum of 7 rounds. Probably looking more like 8. The average.
I would say you're definitely correct in that estimate. Around that ballpark for sure. Teams are having some wow, what a sequence. A team kill in that spray down. Teams are still having trouble getting these T sides fully fleshed out. I feel like to begin, I feel like no longer kind of that, you know, brand spanking new shiny map, right? Like we've already actually had it in here for a moment, so, and it's not like it's the same map that we had at the beginning of CS2 anyway.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. That being the case is what I was always like, are we for real?
It's such a better pool to have it back, though. Like,
I agree.
Not to get political or whatever, but
listen. The real political take is like that Anubis was also bad. I think.
Yo, somebody clip it, and then send it back to me. He's agreed. Yeah, it was just it was a really good map, but bad in the way of how it was just a bit too T-sided, and I feel like even we saw that, you know, pretty popular in the collegiate pool. You saw maybe a lot of one-sided affairs last season on that Anubis, and
I mean, this RIT team was interested.
Yeah, no kidding.
Texas
You know,
A&M, Fishing
same
College.
with, yeah, Texas A&M is a really good example. They were really great, and as a matter of fact, I remember forcing like really close games against Fisher College on it.
Yeah,
Never forget, wasn't it this RIT team that beat that? They win a train at the beginning of a series versus Fisher. I might be misremembering.
No, I don't remember who it was, but I do remember that series happened. I have to go back in my notes. Hold on a moment. Another short fight that I mean, it's been the talk of the town, really. This whole map's been about this short area and a back and forth that RIT mostly not been winning.
Yeah, Overpass has an insane amount of real estate to take. You kind of have, you know, two entire different defaults, just, you know, with the basic notion of, you know, just understanding that you can't cover the entire map with one default and actually go and take map control properly. You have to sequence it up right through B to bathrooms if you do want to, and kind of vice versa. Here in this time, they're sitting in shore control, and Ashland realized that there's nobody back up on A, so they can go through an aggressive play, count it towards Khan, get these shots back up, and cause chaos here in the cut. Right now, it should be good for him to just bully him. Right now, it's looking a little bit that daunting with this USP. Finishes the job with the 4K. Zion with a 7-2 start.
Yeah, I think that's something that's elevated Ashland significantly is the way that they react to losing individuals. They kind of always have a second idea, a second notion of what to do. The next one. I also, by the way, checked my notes. I think you're thinking of a Cumberland versus Fisher game.
Ah, yes,
where it was a comeback story for Cumberland on train that they picked. Forced an ancient decider. So you're close. Didn't get to see RIT in that one. But speaking of RIT, man, it's some struggles right now. Listen, I know they picked this map, and I know it's T-side too. That's the other like limiting factor that you really have to continually mention on this. Just got done talking about what the expectations are, but I think that I gotta be impressed by the way in which Ashland have been winning. This looks very replicable. They could do this consistently. There's that smoke. That's what they were intending to do on the pistol round. Didn't quite get there. This time they nail it. Straight up Sands.
There's a lot of pressure here. I feel like I can see this going a lot of different ways, and I gotta be honest with you, Vincent. A lot of those possibilities aren't good results. Really playing like it. Gotta go another step forward, but Hoax is gonna get put down. A nade right in the face of Benji. This is gonna be one tough clutch attempt, and it won't go further than another missed shot. 3 here survive for Ashland, and this is becoming a really one-sided first half.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, as much as RIT almost get the perfect run out of cards going their direction for that one, right? They get the top con smoke. Nobody's in con. Nobody's in bathroom. They're doubled up on dice with an up in the mix. Like, it's very uncomfortable for Ashland. Despite all of those facts, Ashland still do enough to even the numbers, and then on top of that, RIT not able to do much in the post plan. They don't even get the bomb down, actually. Aren't bat smoked out. RIT ready. Maybe take a little bit more of a slower approach, a more default approach to this one. They sort of leave B alone. It's been an issue. I highlighted how short control has been a big point of this game. Very often going to be a T side and a CT side, really revolving around that position. They ignore it this round, RIT.
Sprinting up long with the op. Missed shot, and they're going to take advantage of it. SML sees 3 players.
Why not shoot him, though? Why not just...
To set up his team for a little bit more vision. C is going to have an extended flank up towards long. This better work out.
I mean, it's not working out. SML could still be impactful, though. But the flank, no more. But the fish, man. Oh, that is devastating. Everyone's down. SML gets his. Koza, a 1v2. Wow. Is the fish, man. Is gonna put them all to bed. He's sleeping with the fishies themselves. It's 11-1 for him.
Man, you can tell there's tension. You can tell there's tilt there in Koza's attempt. This is not a great feeling for RIT to have on their map selection, where they're supposed to come in with a game plan on the T side to, you know, come and grab those 5 rounds, those 4 rounds convincingly that we, you know, speak about being the bare minimum if we're, you know, saying that the other side is, you know, going and getting this 7 or 8 rounds a half. This is not even looking close at the moment. RIT got to show us something, really get us inspired.
Good news is they get a bomb plant, their full loss bonus, so they can keep buying. Oh, this is diabolical. Just gonna walk through the smoke.
This is great. 2 kills just like that, and he walks through a smoke like it's a pug and punishes them.
Because it is for these guys right now. For Ashland, they are vibing it out, having a great time. And honestly, I take that back. Disrespectful to the care with which Ashland are currently putting into this CT side. Does not at all look puggy in reality.
Doesn't mean that they're not living on the feeling, though. They are off this flash and dominating this game. Bomb goes down for it. Don't let them have that liberty. They just pour on the utility. Benji and Koza gonna just get a little bit of room to breathe back in bathrooms. Ashland waiting for the pushes to come through. They don't. They realize how desperate RIT is. Got a smoke onto the bomb. Plenty of kits. And this should be an easy one. Sprinting towards that bomb. They've got a nice shot. And trying to spam Koza. No bullets. 10 HP. That's an 8th round up for the Eagles.
It's ugly right now for RIT. Ashland, it's basically everything they need to do right, they are doing right. You know, the right move for RIT is kind of hard to parse if you're being real, but I think they probably needed to go and fight Zion there at some point. Couldn't just let him be long forever. Made it difficult for them to get into any comfortable post plan on the site. That's why they both isolated. Another bomb plant. Are we going to see the classic, let's just rush B call? At any point, you got to find that, and it's actually going to be just that. They are so passive on B, though. Ashland. And in fact, they cancel the B rush. This is surprising in a lot of ways.
Teasing, testing a reaction. Ashland just so happened to shuffle their cards for a more aggressive A matter in this round. And even the Lurk finding one of those frags and damaging the integrity of this play.
Sham's dead.
RIT are going to have every advantage on the B site. Sham does go down. They lose that Lurk, and Spaz, he's going to get nothing off of the boost. And in fact, they know now that 2 players are going to be just here within hell, smoked out, getting desperate. The Fishman is getting curious with this smoke. What? This shouldn't be an easy matter about it. He manages to net a frag. They're still trying to stuff it at this gain, and just cracking it to the legs even of Zion. RIT looking really good to pull away with this post plant, and they are.
I mean, the whole round is set up for Ashland to be aggressive on A. That's why they're so, you know, passively set up in B. They don't have any sort of forward hold. And to be honest, when that boost doesn't get anything, that's when the round's lost. Right then and there. As long as RIT don't do anything stupid, which they don't, play that smart, you're gonna get the win. And I can't say I disagree at all with RIT's, you know, call in that moment. Try and change the pace a little bit, get up in their face, and it's something that, like, Ashland, they weren't even on the B site, so on the upside, they're probably not going to be worried about that happening again. But RIT, they really needed that, a lifeline just been found with the 2nd round. They've, the 2nd round in a row that they've missed the short molly, by the way. It's air popped.
see Spaz into the corner. At least they should. They don't. Spaz gets a great double opener while going for that real estate into and further of B. Benji and Captain now can't even proceed with what they were so dreaming to start. It's going to be a desperate throw their bodies right out of this monster position if they're to actually attempt something here. What a damning feeling this must be.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4 rounds in the first half. Obviously not winning this one, so it's 3 at a maximum. But, dude, I mean, this is so disappointing, I feel like, for what I was wanting to see from RIT. I feel like this is, you know, a good thing for you to learn, maybe, if you're practice on this overpass maybe was overselling how great it might have actually gone in an official. They've learned a lesson here. Still not even over yet, but at least obviously this T side could use some work.
Yeah. They're going for this, it seems like. Gonna give this a try. Obviously carting the bomb with them makes that viable, but Zion, not Benji stopped fast enough, but clearly audio cue given away. Captain, 1v4 attempt is made, but fails. Zion and Fishman are on an individual level just above and beyond. They're just hitting everything. Oho's at 11 as well, but wow. I love the way that you described this, a like playoff match in the making. And right now it's fizzling out where RIT not quite looking like that team that we were teeing up, that we were talking about.
No, this is definitely an underperformance by the 9th ranked team on the rankings I was referring to earlier by College Counter. Seeing these pistols sprint up far and past the bomb that has just been dropped is going to be a damning feeling. They've been put to the ground by their backs by this bite. This might get a look back down, but there's an incendiary burning at the top of the point keeping them from it. Spam Cyan with a nice no scope. It's gonna be just appearing to be 10 rounds in the first half, though. Hoax has just slipped away with this bomb. Hold on a minute.
There's more to be done, but the fact that all 3 Eagles are currently walking up con, going to be a surprise. The wherewithal, though, for RIT to plant back dice rather than forward. Goes up, investigates, and finds nobody home and bang. So the fact that they're all 3 stacked up, pretty well known to RIT already.
Walks the way of this long smoke, and they're taking a gander at it. Spaz 1v1 has this plan at the other side of the double die, but that might be right on line. 13 HP needs to land one more bullet, and he does. Ashland are dominating so well that they're putting up double digits in the first half on RIT's map pick.
Jeez Louise, this is all the way down to the wire, even in the last round. But even despite that, Ashland, they're having no stops, nothing going wrong for them. Getting some big moments out of Zion right now. The Fishman, having a lot of those on the rifle. There is really nobody, though, that's letting down on the Ashland side of the equation. And I don't really feel like it's necessarily like one individual or even 2 individuals that are struggling for RIT. It's a top to bottom failure right now. All I can say is the CT side just needs to be better. They need a pistol, need everything they can get. Let's be honest. 3 stack here at A. One's going to be looking towards long bathroom. Should get a little visual right now. Captain's going to hear him as well.
Watch is spamming the side of the pack, and Sham, he can tap. 3, 4! Sham! Where did that come from? Hollow points ringing through the heads. And a Sham ace to give life, to give hope, potentially, in the second half. 4K will do just that. I think he wants all 5, and now these steps at the top of connector. Benji, go away. We don't want you here. Where is Sham? Give it to him. He's at the top of the cut, and he gets the ace. Sham in the second half. He's popping off.
There we go. You know, a little hero moment, a little individual flair, a little something, something to get RIT back in the chair. And I'll tell you this, you know, that's exactly what they need. Will it bring them back in this map? That I don't know. But it's a start of dreams. When you're talking about coming back, that'll light up the comms, that'll light up everybody, smiles on the face. Your teammates getting an ace. Simply called an eco here. Ashley not gonna get silly with a purchase without much of anything to go behind it. Nice placement of the nade too for Benji. Continues gathering information as he falls back.
Alright, team whipping themselves right back around this corner. Benji does have tap of that USP on the shoulder, jumping around. They'll steal the feed. At least getting these two forced up in a freebie. That second round off of the eco, off of the ace.
It's hard for RIT though, because I know that there is 3 rounds here for Ashland before, you know, they take the win, but it's going to feel like it's basically 0. One mistake, especially at this point in the game for RIT, it could be the entirety of the game. Going to keep a little bit of a bonus going, which I'm surprised at. Tomas's 2 MP9s. A lot of damage that Nate just does, and SML straight through the smoke, and SML, he's shut them both down. Well, the A site, it falls, but it's not going to fall without further resistance. Rotation comes up in the form of Captain. Coase is following suit, and it's immediately Hoax on the fastest flank possible.
Ashland is looking to set the record straight. Bomb's gonna get planted here. Bomb has been planted. It should be a save of these guns. Hoax takes the fight with Toho. Now that's a good start. Immediately that life will depart back towards the bank, and I think Hoax will stash the rest of what he has away.
Laying in the sand. That's exactly what RIT are looking like. They're blowing away like sand in the wind right now. Luke's going to be able to survive this. Him surviving actually is really meaningful because it allows 2 things, right? Everybody's money's pretty good, but ex-captain especially needs a drop. Lets him do that. Get another comfy purchase. But talking about a statement from SML, dude, seriously. Walk it out. The smoke, deep fountain, he disrespects it entirely. Just sprints at him. Takes it by his own hands. I'll keep saying it. Valve, please fix that. It sounds like you break your legs when you land on the tire.
Maybe they do. Maybe that's just what happened.
Canonically, you break your legs every. Valve is that's horrible.
Pretty sad. It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal. Pretty bloody. Here on the site as well. Sham toting this off, and right now they're trying to stand another hit. Sham, he is going to gauge another highlight, but cannot do well for just the start. The Fishman is going to have to gauge all the way of this space back towards long, thinking that there's somewhere all the way on the bomb site. Oaks might get caught in the side of their head here if he's not careful.
Oh my gosh.
What? pokes right into Divider and he doesn't see him. This is just insane. He'll realize eventually.
I don't think he
Maybe
will.
Pokes gets the side of the head here at AC. Can't be expecting this. Nearly losing the round is RIT. It comes down to the 1v1.
Be honest with you, I kind of thought the Fishman might actually read into that. And I'll tell you why. If he's coming from sight, back turn to sand, that means his teammate's probably there somewhere. That's what I would be thinking. So I thought maybe there was a chance. Not quite. It's been all about Sham this second half. RIT's victories, they've been about Sham. He's triple kill there on the op. Clean as a whistle. Beautiful work being done by him. Star-studded. There's more to be done. Ashland, one step closer to a victory. Every one of these wins that they get here on the T side, it is massively important.
It's a nice double kill, Captain. And a great exchange. The Fishman laying down the punishment, laying down the lead. Seems like to be another RIT second life in this second half. Even worded out here. This is from quite a deficit, double digits. It was a 10-2 scoreline. And even Ashland got a great two-sided round. And I thought that was honestly going to be them. I think literally the words I used was setting the record straight, right? And
Yep.
feel like straightening out their papers, you know, stacking them on the desk, getting it all ready to go. Everything's been thrown out of a funk now.
Yeah, I thought they were looking good. Unfortunately, those papers, they got ruffled once again. Couldn't get the
You know what I'm
stapler
talking
out.
about, right? He's tapping them at the bottom of the desk. He's getting them
Yes.
all even in his
I was
hands.
actually
Thank
looking.
you.
I was looking for a stack of papers I could do that with, and I didn't have any within reach. I was
That's
gonna make the
disappointing.
sound.
It's disappointing.
I was gonna like give you the sound effect as well. That's how on the same page we were.
I like the way you think there, Vinny. Hey, Zab. Oh,
Oh man.
that should be on.
What?
Sheesh! Shake him
That
the
one
leg.
is.
Shake him the head at that. That's insane. He'll get clipped afterwards. Seems to be defended a site for now. Should be a 7th round. As long as this becomes 3-man site. Just instead, we're waiting, waltzing for these kills to just be handed to Spaz. They're not giving him any liberty to take that lob.
Somebody's got to swing him soon, I fear. Thanks, Captain. Ensuring it doesn't go too crazy, and he'll actually clean them both up. Triple kill from Captain. RIT. It's a slow burn. I'll be honest. It is a slow burn right now for RIT, but every round is just the next step. You know, it's a long uphill battle, but they're making it work bit by bit. Another chance for the Eagles, though, to find a kill shot right here. They can fly high. Of what these Tigers can provide. Where this end. Back out. Heavy presence towards A. Pretty default set to begin with for Ashland. Flashbang to take long control. Inside party. Get up Khan. Very much the early stages of a round that Ashland don't run into any problems with. The fact they haven't met any resistance at all at a minute is a little bit absurd.
All right, T are playing the CT round right here at 19 perfection. Their protocols are just perfect. Feels like they know exactly what Ashland are doing, what level of land they're actually
Oh my
standing
gosh,
on.
that's like one flash that got this response. What?
Pulls them back from A. And now, Ashland, how can they go further than just pulling the pin? How can they pivot? Benji with a great first frag. Captain, they grabbed a Fishman and a second in that matter. They're going through that smoke more. Spaz down to 21 health. And I think that's done. That's dusted. 10 seconds and trying to get a bomb plant. Trying to get a breath of fresh air. A moment of respect. It's not going to happen. RIT continue to breathe down their neck. We very well might have another comeback online.
We already do have a comeback. It's just a matter of if it gets completed. Man, I can't believe how effective that was. It wasn't even a real fake, dude. Ashland threw one flash, and I think that was it at B, and it pulled the two players on A primarily off. Both riflers start rotating. Sham's the only guy left, and so they have to flood back in for that retake as the attack is happening. Shout out NECC Captain, who does a brilliant job with very limited resources. Works some magic. Saves the day. Ashland probably going to be another round here where they're going to get another real chance.
You've let RIT get way too warmed up back into this game. That time to turn it and burn it was after round 11 was netted. RIT are always able to steal a second half pistol and make each other leave one step at a time.
I think Ashland are playing a little too methodical right now. What do I mean by that? I mean that RIT are playing entirely off of the sites. I mean, or they're playing these sites. They're playing off of bathroom. They're not playing in connector. They're not fighting for short. They're not fighting for anything at all, really, early in these rounds. So Ashland's methodical default, where they very carefully take front bath, look to get fountain first and then go from there. It's good. These are good protocols, but it's not quite getting the most value with that. And Ashland feel the same. Look to speed this up. BXX inbound here.
They send them off to double digits. They can. Hooks with 3. That's just beauty to my eyes. To see that spam out of the monster player. Always gonna get the shorthand in some of those matters, but when they get a whack at the bat, they are hitting it absolutely out of the park there. Hooks hitting it so well, that spray. They're gonna be done. They're gonna be dusted, Vincent. That was... Yeah. Why did it feel like that was their only B play in the pocket?
That's because it was the only B play they've had the entirety of this map. Benji heard them sprinting up before. Knives are out, and he's gonna put him down. 2 in a row there for Benji. A triple kill for Hooks. Yeah, I don't even think that was a bad B play from Ashland. RIT's counter flashes were just perfect. Like, seriously, so immediate. We had one player there in pit, banger after banger being thrown in. It's hard to beat that, really. The fact that, that B rush is on a gun buy is what makes it so painful. Ashland, for the first time, calling attack pause. I don't think they called one on Ancient, did they? As I recall.
Not that I recall either. Good enough time to...
Reaction. What is the solution here for Ashland? Obviously starting to run out of chances. That was the big gun round. Misses the mark. That's sort of a first. Like I said, Sham's been automatic. He just falls back. Gonna get another chance at it. That's why this op on the CT side of this map is so effective.
Coming down. Ashland. Now they have an opener towards the safe site, but are they going to be prepared for what's the bearing hit of this long take? They are not. The Fishman with a double entry. Ashland are going to be getting this bomb down. This could potentially be up for 12 here. They just needed to get RIT once, Vincent.
There's nothing to save here, though, for RIT. They can go in for this and still buy very comfortably next round, so I think they should. 2v4. This crossfire is deadly.
Sounds reasonable to me. Cash in the bank, so you've got to tank it. And they go down. Ashland, they earn 12 here through a play that works for 11. It works for 12. It's likely going to work for 13. What they threw at B was immediately just blown up at the line.
Well, Ashland, I mean, it's taken them a while to get there. Getting to map point, more than that, series point, they could stay perfect on this season. You know, talking about this being like a potential playoff matchup, I still very much believe that, but you know, RIT's 0-1. If they lose this, like they're in the same group, obviously, as Ashland. Like, this would be scary for them. First time they've really wanted to play aggressively on A as well, and they get punished for it. Just spaz towards B right now. Lots of options open for the Ashland, though, side. They can basically go wherever they want to. Getting a flash to send Benji, investigating towards long. He's found nothing. Feels like this is sort of obviously going B. The problem is it can go A, and it may, in fact, do just that.
He does find Zion, and they can't chase him immediately back. And when they do, they get destroyed. Benji, just a terror. Get this trade. And Sham finds Ho-Ho, 5v2, 30 seconds left. It seems like we're going all 24 rounds. Benji gets a triple kill.
Yeah, it's looking just like that. That one mid-round play from Benji. Sham sets it up with the flashbang. It's everything. It's something that I've been highlighting for RIT pretty much all half, where I've been talking about how passive they play and just how static it is. You know, it's more than just, you know, sitting and waiting. They're often not making mid-round decisions very consistently. And this is a big adjustment from that norm, where you send Benji out long after he was, you know, taking contact to slow Ashland down. Bathroom, it's a little bit more standard the way that you would approach this overpass. No, baby, look at what I see. Looks like it's going to be a B play again.
This time they pivot, gonna push it through short. This time it's not going to be as risky. Prior to this, they've taken short and failed to sort of sequence up this set play to actually go forward and take the B site. They got Sham here, and that's a problem.
And it's ex-captain who spams spaz. He's
Koza,
through the wood
excuse
wall.
me. We got a double operate here in RIT. Leg spaz before they can even go. There's a little bit more than that. 5 versus 4. They force themselves. In 1:05, this is what I'm talking about. By RIT in this matter, just setting their hit. Oaks, Koza, back-to-back shots. A 4v2, right back down into the very much truth of it. 10-2 half. That they suffer, but never giving up is a feature of this RIT project. Going in, trying to stab this chance. It will not work. 10-2, come back to overtime. Rochester Institute of Technology, excuse me, Tony, cannot be taken down. I just called you Tony, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Oh, man. That's awesome for so many reasons. RIT, a beautiful comeback. and a finalization of, you know, what it's just struggles on this T side, like for everybody, but Ashland specifically. I think that RIT, the reason that they struggle to find an answer for RIT is mostly that RIT were doing nothing special. They were playing so passively. They just didn't give them anything to target. And Ashland are not used to that. They're used to being able to get advantages and then find and execute. Having to execute into a very hard bomb site like the B site with, you know, everybody alive is hard.
Oh, landing that on Spaz 2 times in a row. That's brutal. And just right above the head of DeFishman. Ashland Eagles would have loved to get this out in regulation, because here, this has just been an unstoppable force. I don't know if they can survive 3 more CT-sided rounds.
This is looking like we're going to see a third map. I feel almost certain of it at this point. Raj could be coming at us soon. I guess the positive signs here, 12.5K, a lot of money, all these things for Ashland. One of their struggles is they kept not getting bomb plants, and they weren't able to buy consistently because of that. So constantly having to eco, not an issue in overtime. But whatever the case, it's a big change. Benji in connector this round. Jam watches from Vider. Audio cue for SML, and it goes both ways. Jam's got to just escape after Benji goes down. That's the danger, playing aggressively like that. But RIT, I mean, they have to, you know, be willing to change, to throw the change up. They can't just play the same the whole time.
Feels like Ashland know exactly how they want to operate. After checking back towards long, they don't have anything to worry about here. Their own set of circumstances that they're setting. Can they get past the sham op? Yes, they can. Just like that. In a snap of a finger, a drop of a hat, they're in the safe bomb site, and that's where they've had the success.
Bomb has been planted.
Fishman, very strong position here. It doesn't seem like they're thinking this is even possible, to be honest. Koza not looking that way.
Sprinting out, Hoax. Great shot. H double, and it might be a triple. Hoax, how do you do this? Spaz, 1v2, and this time he's alive as long as he is away from the spams of that B bomb site and attempts to defuse. All he's got to do is miss a shot, and he does. Spaz gets this thing tied up in overtime. 13 all. Spaz has the clutch on.
That is important, necessary for Ashland. They're back for now. It's only their third T-side round total. One better than what RIT was able to post, but took them till overtime to do it. Needed extra innings for that one. Quick reminder, you don't know how overtime works, by the way. First to 16. Like 3 rounds on either side. So 3 T rounds for Ashland and 3 CT rounds for Ashland potentially. If you get to 16 in that process, then that's the W. If you go to 15-15, you run it back the same way, same rules, numbers increase.
Seems simple enough. So let's follow to this very important 14th. A lead out of the first half of overtime is so important. And right now it's RIT that are looking to write it up themselves. Oaks walks his way, gets a spam in the shadows here. A 5 versus 2.
Another good change-up, by the way, for RIT. The way that they're playing the CT side, it's varied. It's not all the same. I think during regulation, especially early on, they were so passive, and I was talking about it a lot, but these last 3 or 4 rounds, even before overtime started, they've been really good. Long setup with Sham and Benji was really effective. Bomb on the back of Zion. He's starting a 1v5. 25 seconds. Not even close. It's going to be 2 for RIT on the CT side of overpass in overtime. But it's not over yet.
Both teams have really struggled on their T sides here, so Ashland is about to get their turn back on defense. They were able to put up 10 rounds in the first half. A lot more healthier of a feeling. Weighed a lot heavier in RIT as well. But they've also, I feel like, taken a different temperature in this entire game. They weren't fragging as well in the first half. That was entire. So here they're going to go and just B-rush. Are they prepared to go for it? They are. The Fishman in and out of barrels. He's going to try and just take these fights in a favored fashion. Doing well. He's got backup. SML right on this line with a double kill. This is an easy hold for the Eagles.
Yes, it is. Top to bottom again. Ashland deliver, and it's back to the CT side. So it's back to comfort. It's what they have been so good on. Remember, 10 rounds. I know RIT did the same. Both have 12 CT rounds, CT victories in this map thus far. But Ashland, they're the ones that have already done the hard part, at least maybe, by winning 1 T victory. Up comes out again for Sham. Zion has his. B-Rush might have gone nowhere, but there's another difference for RIT. They aren't going to run the same play twice. Not a chance. SML elevated. Remember how this went back in the first half? Hit in a triple kill for SML. Will they look for this? Is Hoax and Benji waiting on this flash? He'll the trade at the very minimum for Benji. Does a lot of damage though as Sham. It's Ho-Ho out at A, who just pushed up long, entirely alone in that endeavor. Approaching the 1 minute mark, Ashland, they're the ones at the deficit. Fishman has just found so much information. Are they going to get there in time? Fully cleared out long, and they're entirely clearing out short too. But they're not going to get to the A site in time, I don't think. They're up connector, but they're so slow about it.
Frags go down a divider, but it's not going to be a hard decider, I think, here. 15 for RIT, as they're the ones that are looking to force this third map.
That they are. You know, I thought Ashland had done the hard part. RIT getting a one more round means they're the one with the chances to close out. Ashland had 2 chances in regulation to win right here and now, but Mirage could be up next. It might just be that right now for RIT. Good work to bring this back. 10-2 down. Might I remind everyone. The big stack of smokes. Who's the GOAT right here? Sham? Sham just knowing everything. Don't worry, I'll throw the entire execute, guys.
Utility man. Nade guy, in other words.
Nope, we have one of those.
Apparently. Here they go. Sham over with that flash. SML gonna get taken out. Benji on the entry. RIT. You can taste this Mirage practically. They have a double player advantage. nades bombarding into short. They look to get this plant on right quick.
Good work to get the bomb down. All three coming in from short. There's not a way that this goes right for Ashland, surely. You gotta try, though. Here's that flash. Puts him in.
Mirage, that's where we're headed here at 16-14. You got to remember that this is coming from a 10-2 first half, so Ashland, they drop the ball here. They definitely choke out this game, Vincent. They're going to have to Heimlich their cam back into a Mirage, their entire mental. That's going to be tough to do.
Very much so. I mean, very impressive work. I like Sham is the engine, though, for RIT coming back on that map. I think, you know, first and foremost, I was so impressed with what he was able to do. We know what he's capable of, and he really showed that off for us in an impressive fashion on the back end. With that being said, like you mentioned, Mirage is coming up next. Long map, though, on that overpass. I think we're going to head to a quick break and get things ready to roll. Insider coming up after this. Well, it's time to get this thing back underway. We got a Mirage up next, the final map here for this best of three, and an incredible comeback posted up by RIT. Genuinely one of the most impressive that we've seen in the collegiate season thus far. I mean, actually, not one of the most impressive in the collegiate season. You and I cover a lot of collegiate games, not even close.
Yeah, man, I think for one, it's really a concern that Ashland can't close it out there, you know, at the end of regulation or in overtime, especially where, you know, they got the cut back onto their CT side, and well, it feels like they really had like one real round before that second was just poof, gone, you know, and they were out onto this Mirage, Vincent. That was a really good comeback. It all came from 10-2, and I mean, it's always came from this squad, RIT, being pretty active in these pistol rounds. They're always managing to at least grab one of them.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Sham acing on the last of those on Overpass. We're gonna jump into Mirage. This is actually a map that I feel like is a pretty good middle ground. And that's what a default or a decider, excuse me, usually going to end up being. But we've seen some positive stuff from RIT here as of late. Ashland, on the other hand, historically been good on Mirage, so I'm excited for this one. Like I said at the beginning of Overpass, really don't know what the expectation should be of who's the victor here, but I do know this: if it's anything like that Overpass, we're in for excitement. I'm out towards B, at least right now. Two of those players towards the B site going underpass though, so likely going to end up in A split. What is a triangular setup for Ashland on the A-bomb site? Oho hangs out in Sandwich, and Spaz is splitting his attention under balcony. They've got the help of Zion and CT.
Hard for Ho-Ho to land these shots. SML sprinting. But our last point, just off of the camera segment there, was talking about how potent RIT are in these pistols, and there's example A.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's actually something that I wasn't putting together, how good they have been on those pistols, and it's been a consistent factor, that's for sure. Another one that goes about the same. Because I'll tell you this as well, right? We talk about a lot of, like, aiming and shooting, and, you know, this is a game about skill. Mechanics is a big part of it, but, you know, the mental game, I'd say, matters just as much. And the mentality to be able to lose that, you know, when you're up 10-2, go into overtime, and then fail in overtime, and then come back and have a winning attitude and you know, thought process into map 3, that's very difficult. That's something that I think is a test right now for Ashland. Can they do that? Because RIT riding high on that comeback. That is the best feeling in Counter-Strike, is making that type of comeback.
Bomb has been planted.
No doubt about that. I think particularly loving the opportunity to look as clean as they did in communications. Like, I speak a lot about how it may be just like hard for some of these teams to get settled, look good on their T sides to begin, but it doesn't mean that the CT is as easy, or any for that matter, right? I really feel like you can tell that there may in fact have been a lot of reps there for RIT putting in the work, because their communication looked very pretty. I mean, you saw the way that they were responding to a lot of those B hits, setting up protocols to exactly catch B rushes. Like, they looked like a really practiced team there. And I'm very happy that you're able to get the sample size that you did on that CT side because of the scoreline put up in the first half. I mean, they were supposed to, you know, end that thing in like 3 to 5 rounds. So the fact that we're here on a third map speaks volumes of the stomach that RIT actually have.
Yeah, their resiliency being put to the test. It stands the test of time. Gonna get the guns out though on the Ashland side. Quick move for SML up catwalk. He was definitely a star back over this series. Looking at both him and Fishman as like the dynamic duo of the riflers for this Ashland team. They're in the prime positions. They play Con and they play Cat. Two of them looking to tag team once again as RIT removed things from mid. Send it. Con. two of them activating. Nothing much more. A trade or two goes up. The last man standing, and from this position and ramp, I don't see much of a chance.
Counter-terrorists win.
Ashland clock into this Mirage. They respond with a nice victory back. I kind of disagree. I feel like Koza was about to square up that player on the stairs, start of something there,
Ooh.
but lit out that candle. Nothing but smoke back from Ashland. I want to make it 2 in a row here, and it should be taken easily. Just a batch of pistols that stare back at them from RIT.
You saying he could take the smoke? Is that what you're saying?
I think so. I think so.
Okay, fair enough. This is like you highlighted though, pretty easy round. Did you see the new gun buddies?
Yeah, one's like a bomb, right?
Yeah,
The
little,
bomb
little
buddies.
guys.
Dude, I swear the ragdolls in this game, more than any other
They've
I've
changed.
casted recently, have just been going insane.
They changed like a couple of weeks ago.
Gotcha.
Maybe it's longer. I don't remember how long ago, but relatively recently. And I agree with you.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to. It's more stuff to gamble on in game, which is maybe a whatever problem, right? I guess I need to buy a battle pass to earn those gun buddies, so I don't know if I'll...
I think you could just get them on the market.
Okay,
can't
can you? Can
Probably
you?
not yet.
That's true.
Because it's like 14 days, but I know you're a part of the like the mafia of the little guys, the little sausages.
Yeah, I love those little dudes.
Yeah, so I
Little
just was
weenie
wondering
guys.
if like
That's what I
if there
call
was
them.
some sort of like war happening between those guys. and
There
the
probably
mob
will be.
guys.
There probably will be. You know, I just give it a couple of days. You know, I'm sure
I
they'll
see.
find a problem to have.
Gotcha.
Trying
Now
to
that
come
we're
up
up
and
to
take
date.
some of their turf.
That's a good day.
I also meant to ask you, and I don't know when the heck this happened, this like scope update on the op. I must have missed that, Mo.
Yeah, I think you can change it actually. I think it's just default spec settings. It was like last week, so you didn't miss it by much.
Seems a little
so,
bit quirky.
Yeah.
Ask your local
I
opper
didn't-
how they feel about it.
I didn't notice it at all actually until Brandon Dog mentioned that
Oh,
he
I love
like
Brandon
hated
Dog.
it. Yeah,
Gotcha.
and I was like, then I also saw it. Like I didn't care before. Then he said that. I'm like, I hate it.
Yeah, it looks a little
That's-
bit strange. I won't lie to you.
That's unlucky for Benji. He had great positioning. Trying to figure out when to pull the trigger though is very tough. 5-on-4. And it's not getting any easier. This op trying to come up connector as well, and it eats the same fate.
Counter-terrorists win.
And taken down through the
Easy
smoke.
enough.
Definitely looking like it. Starting off with a good streak in response. Ashland Eagles got to recover, I think, some of their mental back from that devastating loss off of Overpass. Nothing short.
It's good to see that they, you know, I talked about like the test of resiliency and what RIT went through there in that overpass. You know, it's not to the same degree, but Ashland coming back in and still feeling confident. I think that's part of it. Zion is opping, certainly not a question mark at the end of overpass. Nails another shot. Now the rifles for SML come out and seems going about it effective.
Spam down. Koza walking away. With enough space to probably hop out of B and plant the bomb. Cause a little bit of mischief. Mishap.
Yeah, this is a lot of good money at the very least, I think, for RAT. Interesting routing too. There's no like weapon to be recovered, so I still don't think this is a problem. But to be honest with you, Ashland really taking their time. I know they both have kits. Go for the bomb. That, in and of itself, is enough for this to be over.
Give him a chance, an opportunity. There's that fourth on the defuse. The Fishman puts out all the worry, finds that last frag. The Ashland Eagles are starting to set the tone with this CT side. The Fishman, 8-3 start. Almost 170 ADR he's at.
I mean, I've been talking him up the whole game for that reason and what he's been doing. And like I said, on the overpass, it was him and SML. And SML standing at the same score line, or at least stat line, with regard to the kill feed. Not quite the ADR. Looks to me like an exec's coming for one. Man, just trying to play a little bit of a game over towards middle, but Zion again ruins Benji's life.
On the same ramp, Sham. That's a just perfect adjustment to the head of the Fishman. Trying to take a quick scope. Spaz under Belk. He's just going bananas. 3 in totality. SML there in connector himself. Not even having to peek out. 5 rounds. Ashton defend A and look really strong there with multiple layers. Timeout in time for RIT to take.
Yeah, I mean, even with Sham winning his one fight, like, Sham has one of the hardest jobs in that, being the solo mid player, trying to get up connector and be a part of that exec. Well, even despite that, things go overlooked. Spaz is on the site and not checked in any way. I actually don't know if he was under Balk or if he was at Firebox, but regardless of where he was, he gets 2 kills for free. Takes a lot of the eyes off of Zion, who had already gotten an opening pick. It's just bad, worse, even worse somehow there for RIT. Piss around, follow up. Those are great, but 5 rounds since then, and Ashland still hasn't faltered. Mark, I'm really wondering if Ashland ever will falter just based on that.
Right on the head of Goza. But at least they're going to be getting some revenge and immediate response. SML, I feel like, should walk a little bit further forward. Could find out a lot here. There's no real crazy looming threat they're too worried about. They're poised to defend B. Could have this response to the HE and the Molotov all in one fell swoop, and they are just going to be turning them into mincemeat. 3 survive here for Ashland as they are up to 6 rounds in the first half.
Look at the economy that they've built up, Ashland. I mean, $12,000 there onto Fishman. SML is not far off until he drops an op over to Zion. But, you know, the inkling is there that this is Ashland running away with things, that, you know, that those hiccups trying to close out. They had 2 chances to actually finalize things on overpass. Well, those not going to be good enough. Another tack pause here for RIT, taking their second of 4. Things a little bit different in this rule set. Normally, you're going to see 3 timeouts per side in a, or rather, per map in a professional game. You get 4. A little extra time to talk things over. It's all about putting on the learning cap, you know?
Of course, take notes. Pay attention. Or else.
Or else, what?
Detention! What do you think?
That's why I asked, because I was just wondering personally.
Or lunch detention, if you were being bad, but not too bad.
Oh, that was a thing? That was not a thing in my school.
Dude, I'm talking, that was definitely a middle school level of suspension right there. Punishment, rather.
Not for me. I don't think that was a thing where I went to school. That is funny, though. That's the worst. That's almost worse than staying after school.
More Saturday school. Breakfast Club was lying to you. Here goes SML from the top of Cat. He's got Sham 3v3. I think the Fishman isn't done baking here. And look at the way they just go ahead and wreck it all. Here goes Hoax in a 1 versus 3.
He's going. He's gone. I was setting up the meme, but I didn't even get that far before RIT were bested. And listen, I'm sort of doing a counter jinx right here, but it was 10-2 back on Overpass. It would be really funny if somehow it was 10-2 again and RIT came back. That would be poetry.
Be a little creepy. A little bit
Be
too
creeped out.
convenient.
Like somebody playing with the dials, you mean?
Somebody back behind the curtains for sure.
I'd like to meet that guy one time. That's something to say about the way he's been handling my matchmaking games.
Look no further than the safe site, the way that they maneuver. RIT did a great couple of entries, Ho-Ho and Zion. Get one spam through a smoke, and we're going to try and open. Keyword try. The attempt on that latch smoke is not too pretty. The timing on it is going to be just tough. Getting down off of the attempted boost themselves. RIT going to make sure they dig their heels in. Find this third round, and it looks like they will. Ho-Ho has to isolate both of these fights, and Benji will rip the head off the body.
Like I said, it was a counter jinx. It was the part of the plan all along for that not to be the case. Because I agree, a little bit creepy would have been the vibe there. Ashland not quite going to be able to complete the puzzle on that round. And to be honest with you, like mostly off the back of like Ho-Ho just not realizing he was seeing somebody and then reacting late and then not being ready to fight the guy who swings close. So again, Zion at window. He fires off, doesn't get anything, and SML for the first time doesn't offer any resistance at Cat either. Fishman goes down. Ho-Ho's the only one who could have impact. He's cut out. Swift, RIT come back into this thing. 4 rounds seems almost impossible a moment ago. Now they're about there.
Outside of the E-Box smoke, Benji is going to be taking this frag in a 4th round next to Koza. RIT looking to actually wind up and get the maximum score they can in the first half. 7-5 would be appropriate.
It really would. And it would be a great recovery, too. And I think that RIT certainly know that. Remember, 2 rounds to start this half. It's been 2 just in these last 2 rounds as well. RIT, in between that, got nothing at all done. Enough of an economy for Ashland to buy for 3 rounds straight. That'll tell you how good those 7 rounds in the middle were. Get back out middle again. Surely not going to be the same thing for SML. Yeah, test him twice. He's not going to fail in the same way.
Have the eyes on SML the whole time. The problem is getting the desired fight in range. Rotation back here is Zion. And the only player healthy to actually stand up here in the clutch. Down members. Molotov goes back to default, but this isn't going to be denying a plant.
Double op, man.
Yeah.
What is that? Not ideal. Look at the HP. Oh, but now they're all low. Pistols can even do this. It won't be needed. Won't be necessary. It's 5-7. RIT tacked 3 on at the end of a half after just winning the pistol and losing 7 straight after that. Eagles move to the T side. RIT will get their crack at the preferable one on Mirage.
RT and second half pistols. Something that is just inevitable, it seems. Gotta hit some USP shots. There's a pack of these pistols into middle.
Be the perfect time for Ashland to kind of show that, you know, that's a thing of the past, though. Utility set up for an A exec. They don't go off of it. Walk up con instead.
There's that Glock. He takes a headshot onto Hoax right around this corner. Benji is boxing them into jungle. RIT. 1, 2, 3. Big kills in the last 10 seconds. Bomb, where's it at? So far away from the 1 player left. Ho-Ho in a 1 versus 4. There's little fire out of this bird, Vincent. Even here where you were hoping to see it. 6 rounds here from RIT. And they are always getting these second half pistols, man. This is crazy. 100% shooting in that realm.
Yes, they are. And, I mean, with such a tight scoreline, too, 7-5, that's enough to close the distance. Another one where the Eagles, they don't get a bomb plant. RIT do not know how to say die. They will never give up. They will never give in. Another half where that seems the case. By Ashland controlling the majority of their CT side. All of that hard work about to be undone instantly.
Counter-terrorists win.
7-7.
You clean?
Just like that.
Moving into the gun round now. Is the T side that was really the struggle point for Ashland on Overpass. I don't anticipate them to have near the struggles here on Mirage. Not even close. It's a much more approachable T side, much more even map, all things considered as well. Sham breaks open the smoke, catches Fishman through the top mid smoke, excuse me, as well. Unlucky for the Fishman. But if there's a guy you want to get rid of, it's the one on 115 DAR.
Koza needs help immediately. Sham and Benji rotate into market. They're going to need to patch this problem. Ashland get the bomb down, planted for the catwalk. They just have a player that's here to defend in apartments as well. It's so hard to for an 8th and the lead taken back to the Eagles.
There you go. Even with that opener from Sham, even with everything given for RIT, SML doesn't take no for an answer. The Fishman gone. Sure, SML will sprint up Cat, level the playing field, find 1 even under fire. Ho-Ho, it's 2 for the price of 1 there. Actually collapse him with a headshot. Beat the final 2 kills. Money's pretty ugly. RIT on another save. The first of this half. Aggressive look down into Palace, and Benji, he's escaped with his life for now. Meantime, Ashland, they fill in the gaps and go straight into A.
Ashland 1v3 attempt. And we just keep stabbing back and forth. This is a bloody battle between two of the top teams in collegiate Counter-Strike. It's Ashland's turn to take a timeout. RIT win a huge one there as they needed some money to fund their CT side here, and that victory will do it.
That it will. Ashland, you know, like I've been talking about, very rarely on the back foot. They've not often had to go for these timeouts. They did, you know, eventually do that late into overpass when it was clear that things weren't going correctly. So them taking the timeout now tells me that they feel that same pressure. Money so limited. SML attacking some armor. A little bit more armor to work with on these upgraded pistols. 2 smokes, 2 flashes. Game plan could be with that. First of which is a top mid smoke, or rather a window smoke, and the con smoke as well. Gonna sprint up, maybe pop through this con smoke. That would be a classic. Exactly what it's gonna be.
To Benji, that's a great headshot. They're gonna go and get these ecos out of the door quickly. 9 here for RIT. And this is where, on one casualty, a full house shared between Benji and Sham, where the legacy of this collegiate program remains on this roster. They look to
once again, bending to receive Ashland, but able to bounce back, snap back into place. Jams up and looking hot. Gets another look, and it's a very different idea as he gets boosted underpass. I think he's really smart. This is not a top mid smoke, but unfortunately Sham misses the shot, and he's punished heavily for it. They sprint up Cat. That's their undoing. Hoax and Benji. Make sure that they cannot escape with that.
Benji sliding out with the flash there. Ho-Ho is gone. RIT remains dominant. Strength in numbers, that we know. They should be the first team here in Mirage to get double digits. 10 they stare back at. Spaz walks into the B site where little does he know there's 2 players waiting for him, Vincent.
It's not really a very welcoming sight, to say that. Double digits found by RIT. Firstly, they get to play the punish. They get to play the spoiler. And a hellacious look at Ashland's finances, man. They are once again devastated. Lots of smokes, 1 hero rifle. Smelled to me like an AXX, but not mid-smoke thrown. I'm gonna take this a little bit slower. AXX is the move. It is just gonna be off the back of getting this AK down into middle, up connector. 3 Tech 9s, a trio of them, if you might. Wield the smokes. They've already gone out. That's pretty early, I feel like. The AK in place.
It's a great headshot. It's the only AK that they have, so they better use it to perfection. A Tech 9 standing up to it. All you have to do is run forward with the tally. Sham showing why he is so sensational in the pistol round plays. Has 2 out of the USP here, and it's down to a 1v1.
It's so smart from Sham. Knows they're on an eco, so just goes for the USP. Not a lot of oppers would have that confidence.
Fishman holds. Fishman waits. Fishman should be favored because of his weaponry out here with the op as one of his options. Half a time is ticked. And now, just with the pistol, he will collect a 3K in the clutch. This is in case in point for an upset. I feel like RIT had all the pathway to take this game forward, Vincent. They get destroyed by a group of pistols, and Ashland are back.
They absolutely did have a pathway forward to take this to the house, run it back for the TD. Well, right now, they're underground in comparison to where they could have been. It's that one SML AK double kill entryway onto the site into Fishman, the closer that collects and does not stop. RIT. Mistake that they're going to have to just live with because they got to focus forward onto this next round. Elevated is captain. Love this from him. They dodge in the flash, and that's enough to force them back.
Confirming potentially 3 players here on B. Just saw that offer fall off. Damn, down to 2 health. They're going back towards A.
I'm already there. Station being made. Koza's on the move. Fuji's already arrived. That smoke's too late.
Sits in front of the smoke after that frag. Oaks just knows that there's more behind it, but they can't respond. Sham gets to Fishman, 5 versus 3. RIT are going to be heavily favored for 11 rounds here. Benji looking to see where this flashbang came from. Oaks still holding ramp. This thing is returned to sender at the A ramp. Their play is shattered.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I think that Ashland, a little bit one-dimensional right there. They come in, and there's just no, like, exec. There's nothing. It's just, like, a contact play out. They wanted to go ahead of that smoke, or at least the first man did, but nobody was there with him. Nobody was there to work with it, and I mean, they just allow for Oaks to get the kill, upgrade to an AK, sit there forever. How exciting and creative their victory in the last round was. That's a pretty painful. Window smoke is missed. Jam doesn't hit the shot though to punish it. Mid smoke helps out. But they double push Palace and both lose their lives fast. He's just created a miracle. Ashland are back.
Yeah, they've just chewed up and spat out this A site defense. Koza is going to have to do a little bit better than just landing one of these spams through a smoke. Both of these players in RIT are at 1 health. They should save these guns.
Got to do it, no question about that matter. And this one looking like it's going to be all 24 again. Get the maximum out of this best of 3. Overtime required, all 24 in Ancient. Looking at everything, nothing left in the tank. It is all gas, no brakes. Ironically enough, that team was another Legion team, or at least the core of it. 11-10. RIT still holding a lead. RIT certainly still going to have money for the buy. Spaz, you know, he's had some real hero moments. Think back to that clutch back on Overpass. Got them 12. A lot more that he was doing defending B on the CT side. Now, gets some double kill. Opens up the A bomb site. Ashland might just be back, but how long term is that?
Ashland want to tie the game off of this B hit. It feels like they're juking out Koza really well. Smell finds Captain, and that's a perfect time to go ahead and hit play on this procedure. 5 versus 3. And that type of utility is going to just tell them to stay away. Even attempting, Benji is just going to be disappointed.
They gotta save this, really. You gotta get out, but they're worried about trying to exit. Hoax makes his way. Sham's already light years forward. He's in the future. Ahead of the curve. Gonna get across. Hoax is still in big trouble. They need both these guns. They need a bat, and Hoax won't escape with his. Jam at ramp. He's also in danger.
Wow.
Oh, I'm thankful that he can hold on to this AK. He can drop one. Goes it can afford. But it isn't going to be the best. It goes without saying that, you know, a continuing loss, if RIT don't win this round, they're in trouble. Oza's bought Sham and Op, actually. They could have got a lot of extra utility instead of that, but I can agree that they need to get Sham in his best form. Sham defined RIT's comeback on Overpass. Got them to this point. That's why they put faith in him now. Push over to ramp. RIT gonna get a flash in. It's all just an indicator. Oho's ready for it. Watching and waiting.
It's the stab back. RIT, see the rest of this pass-up connector. Benji, I don't know how he hasn't been traded by now. Gets shot out. And the smoke put up. A little bit more gravel on top of it. Hopping on top of the ticket booth, Koza and Caps in here. Gotta find a way to succeed.
Fishman, though, in almost the perfect post-plan position right now. Captain, I mean, he's going to be looking for this, but it's so hard to clear the Fishman out. Maybe not.
But he wasn't ready for it. Recovers the AK. Captain has a kit. This just became that much more winnable. Into Firebox, out from default, they face it, and they have to. They get the retake. RIT is the first team in this series to net 12 rounds. This is how they do it. 10-2, come back and Overpass. They forced this Mirage to begin with, and they want to be the ones that take the entire series. They're the slightly lower ranked team here to begin with. They want to jump them.
Could serve Ashland up their first loss of the NECC season right this moment. Even worse, RIT wouldn't have had a bye. It would have been so bad on this final round. Otherwise, from a man disadvantage, a 2-on-3, they recover. Captain is important there. Clears out the Fishman. Benji's double kill in defense on the site. A team effort from RIT Orange. Ashland, invest another tactical timeout. What do they have to work with? Taking stock. It's a trio of smokes, whole load of flashbangs, and a 1 molly. This is not a lot to work with. Smokes especially being missing. Where do they go, and what do they do? The SMG on the Fishman. That one hurts when he's been so good, for him not to be able to have a premium rifle. Day, we try again. Same play for Ashland. They were just denied here, but via retake. Getting onto the site, that was their bread and butter. This time, they've got a soft target. It's only Hoax in CT to defend it.
Ashland get the entries into the A site needed. bomb about to be put down here by Hoax.
Zion. That spam nearly
Hearing
deadly.
them shift towards CT. You know where it's coming back from. Easy kill.
Good more though. SML on the exit. Koza, he's getting back in. Knows that they're still in connector and in jungle. There's a smoke on the bomb.
Just like that, we get 2 overtimes in a row here in this series. What more could you want? This time it's Ashland that is going to be forcing it. That's more what we could want. An interesting conversation that Ashland, the ones that were potentially falling out of this series, got a little bit more gas.
That they do. One overtime leads to another, spawns another. Alright, T. Could not find a way to close it right there. Ashland, it's ugly, but they win anyway. Big fans of this A site lately. They're gonna drop the bomb to set up for what would seem like another A exec coming soon. Yeah, same 4-1. The SML looking to play the mid side of this. A whole lot more stacked defensively, though. Off his ear as well for Sham.
RIT forced into overtime. This doesn't mean that they are just going to take that as a warning. Not going to waste this position at the top of stairs. I was expecting at least one more here. That nade is going to be close, but no cigar. Pulled by Spaz there to hold the plant, but they needed it to actually fight here on the little HP. The flaps, they can't fry. 13th, they're looking to provide. Captain and Koza give them a great collective previously in the clutch. Koza gets this down to a 1v1.
Damage, though, already done. So low, the HP for Spaz. He's just sticking it. Hold on to this defuse. Koza, not going to be contested. RIT, a 2v2 that they take with ease. Koza doesn't even get shot at until he's already got the full bomb defuse stuck. Impressive for IT to take that first round in overtime. Ashland are right back in this, though. Finally going to get off of that. The final, 4 rounds of regulation, and then the first of overtime was those A hits. Different iterations of them. Jam rotates back to B quickly, too. Feeling like there's a lot more presence at B than there actually is.
I feel like should have just saw the top of the head there. Now sprinting back, he's going to hear this. Spaz. And the rest of the Ashland Eagles should look to finish on B.
SML doing so much again. He's destroying them on A, and yet they're still sticking around to this B hold. Really impressed that RIT haven't been allured off of this. Sham, of course, got to worry about the gap at mid. Like Sham goes down too. Now it's up to Koza. He's got to do it all. He's a solo man, and it's Spaz. And if it wasn't Spaz, SML, who has basically done this all on his own. He's gonna get the 4K here. I don't think Hoax is ever checking him. Okay, Hoax is the GOAT. A little bit of foresight. Knowledge is king. But Ashland, I mean, they still have a great boost plant. Crossfire set. This should not be breakable.
We'll come to the bomb. Here's that spam. A headshot, but a nade that he will not be able to avoid. 13 all. The Ashland Eagles have Spaz coming all the way back from Palace to the B-bomb site to finish that play.
Well, there we go. SML. I'm blown away at how, when you're talking about like clawback kills, SML is the best, and it's not even close in the server. You know, they had the new like a few months ago they changed the HLTV rating 3.0, and they had the round swing stat, right, as a percentage. I would wager SML is at like a 3% in this best of 3.
Ashland running so fast into B here. Breaking 2 backs there in middle. And then the Opera's that quickly arrives back to B. Benji, audible on his rotation. Spaz might be an easy frag. He is. Not more than that. Last round of the first half of OT is looking to be up in Ashland Eagle colors.
Where have I seen that before? Hoax, swing to 3. Ooh. Giving it a valiant attempt, but that one's cut dry at the end. Nearly 30 for Benji, but it is 30 for SML. Go into the second half of overtime. Ashland with the CT side. But really, this game, I think more about momentum right now than the stat lines. The momentum clearly on Ashland's side. SML individually making the statement that he just will not lose some of these rounds, despite the position that he's been put in. Openers, closers, recovery, whatever it is, they provide it. Looking towards Zion on the CT side. He really struggled on the T side now. Got an op out though. Towards window, but doesn't get vision. Nothing more. Seen towards middle. RIT, fill in this area.
Another smoke here inside a connector. Benji instantly lasers a headshot out of this extremity of A. The defense there, it shows its bite, its back. Benji's gonna have to be way more on the lurk, excuse me, but he won't. He gets caught out by the CT standing player.
Seems easy enough. This could be map point. 3-on-2. Sham's got to do some magic here. His teammates coming back in. To be honest, he should probably toss Hoax the bomb. But it's Sham who's going to punch in the number. Swing from Catwalk's coming! And it's a massive damage onto Hoax. Surviving is everybody.
Hoax on this 4 health. But it's Sham that's got to stand in between this off angle and hit the shots. So tough to pivot. 1 versus 3 for the man on 4 health. He can barely stand to take the fight. Won't be able to actually have the strength to succeed. 15 here for the Ashland Eagles.
I mean, a beautiful recovery. RIT had some chances, but now 3 of those chances in a row going to be coming in for Ashland. RIT getting another tack timeout here in overtime. So they'll utilize it to the best of their ability. To be honest, Ashland have elevated in overtime on this Mirage, a space that they struggled on overpass. Wasn't quite there. But now they can prove that that was a mistake that they won't make twice. Don't want to allow RIT a reverse sweep of this best of 3. Then enough of that. Ashland want to stay perfect here at the NECC. They might just do that.
After that RIT loss to Davenport, they set the record straight. They've won all of their games since then in convincing fashion, but this is definitely the most challenging, excuse me. 2 losses at the beginning of any collegiate season definitely upended for your expectations, the mood, but you've got to be able to hold on to the tensions of difference of a top 10 team matchup. That's what you have to accept. Trying to barrel this brawl and find the frag. They get this entry onto B.
Still one man here, counterfeited. They don't know about him, but they cleared it. Oho, out. Zion down. Bomb not denied as the Fishman survives. 2v4. It started as 5. I think not. Send it in anyway. They give it a try. Overtime. Why not?
Having that flash. Goes to the headshot. A 1 versus 4. And there it is. RIT might be sending us to a second overtime here. A 3rd overall in our series. This is just insane stuff. More in that matter. Ashland, they just got to push it to 16 here.
That's the goal. That's where they're set to go. And they go for a double AWP setup to do it. It'd be a surprise. Certainly not something that Ashland have really done at all. They had one double. No, that was actually RIT on overpass. They had the double op. Neither of these ops are on A, though. The Fishman and Spaz, both far forward on the bomb site. One of the ops, Zion, rotating over to Fishman, going to be under fire.
Gotta stand free. Zion on that op. He's so important. Ex-captain doing it all, though. That's the worry put out with both of these riflers in the bomb site. Still haven't smoked off CT. Still haven't staved this problem away. It's a nade that will land right on the top of their heads. A second op where that came from. To rotate back down. This HE may have just been one of the biggest bears to brawl. A missed shot. SML up in the clutch, has a good idea where both of these players operate from. Hoax in and out of Tetris. Can't believe in this clutch before SML does. And you can tell it means a lot to Ashland to hold on to this series, to avoid the reverse sweep there by RIT, who had a second loss to their season, and Ashland remained undefeated.
I mean, it's devastating for RIT, but it's beautiful from Ashland. They make the comeback. They go into this. They don't have a chance in regulation, and they make themselves known as they pull things to the limits in overtime. That is the clutch, and I said it before, the stat line for SML in the swing is ridiculous. He's actually got to be out of this world. Like maybe maybe a 5%. I don't know, dude. I'm blown away by how consistently SML was able to claw back rounds.
Man, if you were ever a hater of collegiate esports, if you ever needed a reason to watch CS in the collegiate space, this is it, man. This is where you're going to get some of the better examples of where you can push some of the peak of competition here. I mean, here even in the regular season, you're going to get this matchup, Vincent, and we're just so lucky to. You're getting both of these teams in the top 10 of the rankings facing off in what is definitely we're going to be reflecting on, I feel like, for the rest of our broadcast this season, Vincent. This was a classic we just witnessed. Back-to-back 16-14s. Overtimes that it took us, man. This was just ridiculous stuff. But to be honest with you, there was a big part of this series where I was just going, Ashland is the better team and deserves to win this. Obviously, that changed in the second half of that overpass when RIT forced this comeback. And you know, are mainly the roster that we're going are probably favored to reverse sweep here. Ashland kind of hit the Heimlich button and are able to just save themselves, win this thing, Vincent, and stay undefeated.
Yeah, I'm impressed with Ashland. Like I said, I think this was a test on both sides for like how to stay in a game, how to make sure that you are capable no matter what the scoreline or the difficult scenarios that were right behind you were. I think that the irony is that both teams actually passed with flying colors. It was just a little bit more oomph there at the end that Ashland was able to provide. SML, like I said, I really am so impressed with what he was able to do on that Mirage, an individual level that was just untouchable. With all of that being said, though, a beautiful end to this thing. That best of 3 was a blast to watch. We did get a chance to basically see like a playoff game right here. Like that's the reality. And it went the distance as you would expect. Make sure that you're tuning in, though. We got a whole lot of action continuing. In fact, Rocket League is still going on. So if you want to check out our other channels, please do so. With that, thank you so much for watching. Pleasure to be here as always. We'll see you not next week, but the next week for Counter-Strike. We got our Rainbow Six broadcast coming next week at the same time. So we'll see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out and have a